makers, this is my 6th and final card that I'm making for the Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous 2024 Stamped and Stencil release. And I really wanted to use this Labels stencil with the Forgotten Garden stamp set. And so I kind of sketched out what I was planning here, just kind of a cobblestoney background with the flower on here. And then I may use one of the sentiments either from the Curiosity Shop or one from the Abstract Florals. So I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to use, but I'll use one of those as well. So I think this is going to be another quick and simple card. That's what I've been aiming for this whole release. And all the cards that I've made, I've tried to keep them quick and simple, so I'm not going to break that at this point. So let's go ahead and get making another quick and simple card.
I took a piece of A2 size distressed watercolor cardstock, and on the rough side, you can see that I'm blending in very roughly some Lost Shadow Distress ink to get a little bit of a gray color in the background. That's going to be my mortar color. And now I positioned my layering stencil on there, and I went over it with my blending tool and pumice stone distress ink. And then now I am just making a few others a little bit darker with a mini blending tool and hickory smoke distress ink. I moved the layering stencil over so I could have a complete card front in this stencil, but it doesn't line up exactly. But you know what? I bet you didn't even notice until I told you that. So now I put a few drops of water on there, dried it, and it is ready to go. So I'm trimming it down so that I can put it on a card base and I'll have a little reveal. And then I'm going to go around the outside edge with my blending tool and some Distress Ink Walnut Stain. And there's a card base that I made out of black craft stock from the Ideology line. And now I'm auditioning the stamp that I want to use on the front and trying to figure out where I would like to put it. And in doing that, I realized that the card front as it was just too much card front for that stamp. So I cut an inch off of the right side of the card base and of that card front. Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that extra inch on the front. I decided to just set it aside, stamp the flower in Distress Archival Ground Espresso. I dried it right here and then I set it on there and I decided, I'm going to attach that front piece of the base to the back so it will be permanently on there. And then the front panel is a little bit shorter. It's an inch shorter, obviously. And then you can see on the right side on that piece that I just secured down that I have a piece of pattern paper. I'll talk about that later. I decided I didn't want to use it, and so I did something else. So now I am watercoloring in that flower that I stamped in the Ground Espresso Archival. I used peeled paint for the little parts in the middle there where I thought the stem was, and right now I am coloring in all the little petals with Dusty Concord and making it kind of purple and lavendery. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint that tape area with brushed corduroy. This is me fussy cutting this flower out so that I can use some dimension and have it popped up a little bit. Now, I didn't really want to do this to too many of these, and I am so excited that Simon Says Stamp has dies for all of the stamps in this release, including Forgotten Garden. So if you are not a fan of fussy cutting like me, you can get those dies. They are linked below in the description. Now, I took a 3/4 of an inch piece to put on that side and cover up what I had done before. And I just put a little lost shadow on that. And now I'm stamping one of the trims, the Crochet Trims, in pumice stone distress ink. And this is all on the rough side of the watercolor paper. And then I'm edging it in walnut stain just like the other side of the front and putting that on the inch area so that there's still a little bit of reveal. You can see where I ripped off the other piece that I didn't like. And there we go. I liked that much better than what I had done before. And then I decided, oh, I needed the sentiment, so I just went ahead and stamped it right on the front. and gave it a little dry. I tied some natural twine along the left side, and then I decided I needed a little bit more. So I got into my antique button collection that I bought off eBay. They usually sell them in little bags, and so I am trying to figure out which three I wanted, and so I decided on a kind of a pearlized floral that I tied onto the twine, and then I put one by the sentiment and one in the top right-hand corner.
Well, that's it for my sixth and final card for this release. This one obviously featuring the tiles stencil that I thought kind of looked a little bit like a stone background. And so I used some grays, pumice stone, those colors for the little tiles on the back, and then used the Sentiment Thinking of You from the Curiosity Shop. One of the florals from Forgotten Garden. Went ahead and fussy cut around that and then popped it up with a little bit of chipboard again. And then I added a few of my vintage buttons that I have and tied some twine through them, and then a little bit of twine around here that I have. It's from May Arts. And then I wanted this to be a little bit different than the other ones. So you saw probably in the middle that I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do to make it look a little bit different. So I cut an inch off of the front panel and stuck it to the back so that when you open it up, it is stuck to the inside. And then I cut another piece of, and I used the rough side of the watercolor cardstock. So on this one, I colored both of them originally with Lost Shadow Distress ink, and then added the hickory smoke and pumice stone on top. This one, I stamped the lace from the Crochet Trims in pumice stone over there, and that's it. So that's a fun kind of little different card than the rest of them, but still using all of the same stamps and stencils from the release. Well, that's it for my cards for the Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous 2024 release. I really enjoyed making with all of these stamp sets and the great stencils, and I look forward to hopefully making some more cards with these. If you have any questions, as always, on today's make, go ahead and leave them in the comments for this video, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Or you can leave me a comment on my blog at playswellwithpaper.blogspot.com. If you would like any of the products for making a card like this, I will have them all linked in the description for this video or on my blog. And as always on my blog, I will have my photos and a quick description of how I made this card. And that's pretty much it. So thanks so much for following along with me as I made my cards for this release for Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I want to wish you a very creative day.